What a beautiful morning, YouTube. In case you're new to the channel, my name is Frank, this is Alyssa, and we are the GlobeHoppers. We are currently on a mission to get to 100 countries and join that 100 country club. And this morning we are in country number 35, the Czech Republic, in what is slowly becoming, well actually what is quickly becoming one of our favorite cities, Prague. And today we're going to hop on a tram, take you guys into the city center, and show you all the stuff Prague has to offer, or at least as much as we could do in one day. You ready for an adventure?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go check out this beautiful city. So the tram is just a 5-minute walk from our hotel, and we bought the 30-minute pass, which was $1.27. They have 30, 90, and 24-hour passes, so we figure we just do the one-way for now and see where we end up. And it should be right up here in the corner, hopefully. So the trams seem to run every few minutes, so we're just waiting on the next one to come by. And we arrived last night. It was about 6 o'clock when we got here. So we took a walk around town. We ended up having a delicious dinner. Found a little shisha lounge where we hung out for the rest of the night. And I tell you, since we got here, we've just been loving this place. It's green. Every place we've seen has been clean, and everybody's been so friendly to us. It's just a really beautiful city. And actually, we're not even staying in the city center itself. We're staying about 3 kilometers outside the city center. We got a great deal on a really nice hotel, so we'll show you guys that tonight when we get home, maybe. And yeah, so far so good. Thumbs up for Prague. We're loving it. Magic or messenger? I don't know what that was about. You can choose.
There's so many kids.
Right. Going faster. Such a peaceful, friendly city. I'm loving it. Alright guys, this is our first stop. It's the Powder Tower. You can see it behind me here. And it was built in 1475. It is one of the 13 original gates to the city. It was never used for defense. It was really just used for in and out, getting in and out of the city. And now it separates the old city from the new city. And in 1470, no, that's what it built, 1475. In the 17th century, they started using it to store gunpowder, and that's how it got its name, the Powder Tower. It's built in a Gothic style, and it looks pretty freaking awesome, actually.
It looks gorgeous, yeah. All these buildings are awesome.
Right, so we made a little pit stop behind us here. That was a happy surprise. And now we're gonna head off to the square, the Old Town City Square, right?
Yep.
All right, let's see if we can find it. We've definitely left the regular city and have entered the old city area now. You can just tell by the architecture here. Bless you. This is the Old Town Square, and it is known for obviously all the little cafes and restaurants where you can stop and eat, and there's these statues all around, and there are some street performers I think it's a little early. They might not be here yet, but they're known for the street performers here. And we are looking for the astronomical clock. So as soon as we find that, we'll show you that next. That was our stop here. And we just missed it. It's 12:06, so we'll be back at 1 to see it do its thing, but we'll find it. It was built on the side of the town hall in 1410, and it's the third oldest astronomical clock in the world, and it still works. So every hour on the hour, people gather, as you can see, and watch it go off, which we're about to see in 2 minutes. We've been waiting in the sun for about 20 minutes just so we could catch this. You see the little people up top coming out, way up there, they're coming out. The skeleton's ringing the bell over here. You see the skeleton ringing the bell? Oh yeah, all the little pieces move. Yeah, and a rooster up top. And that was it, our first astronomical clock. Pretty cool. Bunch of the pieces moved. The skeleton was pulling the cord, ringing the bell, and the rooster came out up top of the road. Pretty impressive that it's been working for all these 600 and something years. Not bad. I can't even get my Verizon phone to work for 6 months. So we arrived here with euros when we came from Greece, and they do accept euros here, but it seems like you get a lot of like street conversion where the guy's just like, yeah, all right, this much in euros then. So we're gonna try to make a stop at ATM and grab a few of their Czech crowns, and then we'll try to find something to eat. There's a bunch of good snacks back there, but again, the last place we went wouldn't even take euros, so we're just gonna do a little swapperoo. All right, guys, so we're just having lunch here in the Jewish Quarter. We checked out the town hall with the famed clock on top, and we saw the museum. And now we're gonna walk past the cemetery and stroll through a few of the synagogues real quick. Probably won't film much in there out of respect. And then from there, we're headed over to our next stop, which is the famed bridge, which we'll tell you all about when we get there. Okay, so between the old town square and the river, there's what they call a Jewish ghetto. And back over 100 years ago, when the Jews were all being moved out of their homes, this area was designated to them, and then later on Jews from all over Europe came here as a place where they could be safe and have their own little area. So we're walking through now. There's 6 synagogues still, there's a cemetery, there's a museum, and it's pretty quiet down this way. Very beautiful. You can see the architecture still intact. Look at this one. So the area is designated as Yosefov. I know I'm saying that wrong, but there's also a really big cemetery here. So we're just gonna wander around a little bit and try to get a feel for it. Pay homage to my childhood friends. I guess we've been walking around now for about 2 or 3 hours, and Prague is just one of those cities you could walk around all day. It's so peaceful. There's no horns blazing. There's no real crowds. I mean, there's a good mix of locals and tourists, and there are a bunch of tourists, but you know, it's not bad. Not overcrowded. It's spread out. and we are headed now to the riverfront. Everything here is just amazing architecture. Everywhere you look, there's statues and buildings and Gothic churches like this one up here. Nice. So our next stop is over there at the Charles's Bridge. It was started in 1357 and it was finished in 1402. And back then it was the only way you could get from that castle, the Prague castle, back over here across the river into the old city. So it's very famous. It's got some statues along it. It's very iconic, and that's where we're headed next. So we're gonna take these over there and we'll walk across it on that side. More picturesque. These boats along the river that you could eat on, and some of them you could sleep in and stuff, reminds me of Amsterdam. There she is, guys, the famed Charles's Bridge. So we're gonna go around here and begin at the beginning and take you guys right across over the whole thing. All right, here we go, walking through the bridge. Alright guys, now we're at the Lennon Wall, which has been famous since the 80s when obviously John Lennon was shot, and they all came down here, they protested, and then there was a bunch of like John Lennon inspired graffiti and lyrics and all kinds of quotes and things put up here. And over the years it's been, covered over by the government, and then now they're, you can still come down, there's still graffiti here, there's still a lot of John Lennon stuff, but there's also now some political protest. I guess the younger generation uses this for their political protest statements and stuff like that. And there's all kinds of letters posted along strings along here hanging. So we're gonna go read a few of them. It's pretty cool and it's pretty popular. Lots of people here right now, so I'll see if I can't get through there with the camera and show you a little bit of it. Right now, a lot of the messages you see up here are pro-Ukraine and screw Putin, stuff like that. Very political. So all these papers hanging across the front here is just all "We stand with you, Ukraine" stuff. I guess they're saving the wall, letting everybody just hang their wishes here. Pretty interesting and pretty cool. I think I lost Alyssa. Let's see if I can't find her. There she is, looking for me. Alright, so I knew it was going to be political, but I didn't realize it was going to be all about Ukraine, but I guess that makes sense right now. John Lennon's kind of a little bit overshadowed right now with all that, but it's still his place. It's still got his memory and his name on the wall, which is really cool.
Some was about Ukraine, but it was also about the disease, COVID, and things like that. There was some poetry up there of that.
Yeah, lots of poetry for that too. Alright, so now we're going to uplift our mood a little bit and head over to
Verbita Garden.
Alright. Crazy rat with wings. I recognize that flag. Alright, so we made it to the gardens, but they may have been closed for some reason. They may not. We can't really tell. The lady didn't speak English too well at all. So that's okay. We're going to head on now to the next stop, and that is a surprise. We'll tell you when we get there, in case we don't find that one this time either. Alright, so this is our next stop. We are at the Church of the Lady of Victories. It's one of Prague's most famous churches, because inside there is a statue of the infant Jesus from the 16th century. It's a wooden statue coated in wax, and apparently there's not too many statues like this of Jesus when he was an infant. So we're going to go on in here quietly and take a peek at it. Come on. So we just got permission from a very funny father. He said it's okay because I'm from New York that I record here. That's him. Alright, so as you can imagine, it was really quiet in there, so I didn't want to say much in there. But when we got in, I asked one of the fathers, I'll show you in the picture, I'll let her put the picture in here below, but I saw that father in there, and I asked him, is it okay if I record? He asked where I was from, then he started giving me a hard time because I was from New York. He said she could because she was from Pennsylvania, but not me because I was from New York. And he was just having a time cutting up with us, and I was trying to be serious with him just to see if I could film, but he just kept making jokes. Then he started telling us a story about how he got lost in the United States on a train, which I really didn't understand. But he was happy to have us record, as long as we weren't from Germany, he said. Well, France. He just, I don't know what was up with him. He's got some things against some certain people, I guess. But he let us film, so we walked around, we did a lap, and we filmed it. It was very beautiful, amazing. But I didn't really feel comfortable talking in there, so we'll just do some editing so you can see what we saw in there. Now I think we're gonna figure out what our next move is, and we'll catch up with you once we're away from the church here. Look at that car. They ain't paying me no mind. Alright guys, so we have made it to our last stop for the day, and amongst all this beautiful Gothic architecture and Renaissance architecture and everything else that we've been seeing today, the whole city's basically like that until you get to this one corner where they have this modern building that we'll show you here. And it was basically designed as a tribute to Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. They call it the Dancing House. I call it the Wonky House because it's just a little wonky. It's not as spectacular as I was expecting, but I guess when you're surrounded by all this other architecture, to see something like this pop up, it does kind of like, what is this doing here? So we made it to this. We're gonna let you take a peek at it, and then we're gonna head back, and I'll tell you a little bit about Prague on our way back. But this corner is too busy and noisy to vlog on, so let's just give you a peek. I actually think that is more beautiful, personally. Can you imagine a puzzle of that? With all the similar shades and windows and colors and all that? That'd be like a 1,000-piece puzzle from hell.
Yeah, that's great. And that's how you get better at skiing. It's like tennis. You gotta play consecutive days and you build on it.
Alright guys, so We just made a quick pit stop we weren't expecting. Actually, 2 of them. We're gonna drop them in here for you guys to take a peek. But there was so much music playing in there, we'd get copyright strikes. So we're gonna have to put some music over it. Maybe a second or 2 of us talking in there. Time for a little pit stop. We saw something interesting and we just, we gotta show it to you. So here we go. Shake it, baby. And just like that, the Jetson style, we got ourselves a sex on the beach. Let's try it. All right, all right. Tastes pretty good. A little bit weak, but I mean, I expected that from a tourist trap, but not bad considering we just walked in, sat down, the machine made it, and now we walk out. Alright, that was just a little pit stop for you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Now we're gonna go and see if we can find one more little treat for you. Alright, one more stop before we get home. Then we'll get serious about heading home. She's never been to one of these, and I've never been to one of these, so we're gonna check this out next. Good. Alright, you got me.
Got our ponchos, got our gloves.
That's cold.
It's pretty cold down here, yeah.
My feet are sticking to the floor like ice. Everything in here is ice. The walls, the tables, the counter, the chairs up there, it's all ice. I'm wearing shorts and my skinny little ass is freezing.
Okay, and for you?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you very much.
Slippery.
Sleepy. Alright.
Ready?
Cheers.
Strong. A lot of liquor.
That's some pretty cold stuff. This is a one drink and get the hell out kind of bar because I'm freezing my nuts off right now. A robot bar, the Czech Republic's first robot bar, which was pretty cool. I've never been to one of those where you just walk in and order and a robot does your drink for you. And then the second was an ice bar, which was right next door, and we figured, well, what the hell, since we already had a drink, we might as well have another. So we went to the ice bar and froze our asses off in there.
It was very cold.
Yeah, it was definitely pretty cool though. We had a good time in there. And now we're heading back, but we wanted to tell you about it out here because like I said, it's gonna be just a little too noisy in there to let the music play. Woo!
So they had pretty much all of the liquor bottles up on the top, on the ceiling there, and the robot kind of just went up and filled up and then brought it down and shook it up and everything. And then just sat it down, and there was a human. He brought it over to you, but that was it. I mean, that was the only interaction you had with him.
And that's basically just to make sure you were who you said you were,
Yeah.
because otherwise anybody could order it, I guess, you know.
And then the second one, it was just all ice. Everything was ice.
The chairs
The
were
seats,
ice, the
yeah.
walls were ice, the counter
bar.
was ice, the glasses were ice.
It was awesome. That was so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
They were kind enough to give us gloves and ponchos though, so that kind of helped a little bit. It didn't really help that we were wearing
Shorts and a skirt.
yeah. But what an experience.
All right, now that was our last stop probably. No promises though. All right guys, so we spent the last 7 hours or so walking around Prague, and I gotta tell you, I haven't enjoyed a city as much as this one in a really long time. This has been such a fun city. The vibe here is really laid back. It's a family atmosphere. We haven't seen any homeless people. We haven't seen anybody shooting up heroin like in Athens, and I haven't seen anything that would make you nervous about being here or scary or anything. It's just been really, really good time here. Now, there's a ton of stuff to do in this city. I mean, you could spend forever, especially if you're into architecture. You could spend forever just enjoying the architecture here. And for us though, everything we did today was free, with the exception of the drinks at the bar, obviously, and the Jewish Cemetery Museum. That wasn't free either, but everything else that you've seen in this video today was absolutely free. Like I said though, there's a ton more stuff you could do. We could go to the castle, which we're gonna do another day probably, and that's not free. And there's a few other things that aren't free, but most of the stuff is really affordable here. It's an affordable, friendly city. I can't say enough about it. I love Prague. And I haven't seen many stray dogs, so you didn't get a dog of the day here, unfortunately. But no stray cats either, so that's what can you do? We'll find them when we get to Asia, I'm sure. So those are my thoughts on Prague. I really liked it here, and we're not done here. We've enjoyed it here so much that I think we're gonna stay an extra night or two. We're gonna head back now though and grab some dinner, and I think I'll add the room tour on to the next video since we're gonna wrap this up soon. So listen, if you guys enjoyed walking around Prague with us today doing free things, hit that like button. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'm sure we'll see you again from Prague before we leave, because there's just so much more to show you.